In this video, I'm giving you an overview of the Absolute Killing Joke. This is the 30th anniversary edition. What's up, guys? BJ Kicks here. I buy comics, I read them, and I review them, all for your viewing pleasure. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. Now, on this channel, I do comic book reviews, comic book unboxings and hauls, education, everything in between. So if you're new here and you're interested in that type of content, hit that subscribe button, then hit the bell icon so that you're notified whenever I post new videos. Now, just earlier this week, on Saturday, actually, I posted a video breaking down all of the different formats of comic books. And up until just before I shot that video, I had never owned an Absolute Edition book. Now, DC's Absolute format is basically like their top-of-the-line library editions that they only give to the best stories with the best artwork. And they're really big. Like, this thing is like 9.75 by 14.75. So it's huge. Like, just so in comparison, here it is next to the deluxe edition hardcover, right, of the same story. So as you can see, this thing is huge. But yeah, I had never owned an Absolute because they're so big and they can be expensive too. But I saw a deal on Amazon and I just couldn't pass it up. Now, normally, the Absolute Batman Killing Joke has a cover price of $49.99. It's one of the less expensive ones because it doesn't have nearly as many pages as most other Absolutes. But I got this for $27 on Amazon. So I'll leave the link in the description if you're interested in buying this as well. But yeah, so because the price was so good, I was like, well, I guess I'll go ahead and buy my first Absolute. And man, I love this thing. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and switch up the camera view and show you what it looks like. All right, you guys, so here we are taking a look at the Absolute Killing Joke. Now, this is not a new book by any means. This book has been out for years. I've seen it at comic shops literally since I started buying comic books. So this isn't some new release. It's probably pretty readily available. But like I said, I'm putting the link to it in the description. Obviously, I'm newer to comics, and so one of the things I wanted to do when I got into comics was catch up on all of the amazing Batman stories. And the one that came recommended near the top of the list was The Killing Joke. And so, maybe a year and a half ago, I bought this. This is the Killing Joke Deluxe Edition hardcover. So, I mean, it is oversized artwork. As you can see, this book is not very thick at all. The Killing Joke was originally just like one single issue graphic novel, basically. So, I mean, it's not a huge thing, but it is such a seminal story. If you guys have ever read it, I'm sure most people watching this video have. This book is basically the only book that we have that kind of explains the Joker's origin story, or at least the one that is most widely considered canon. Obviously, we get a lot of interesting moments in this book pertaining to Barbara Gordon and Jim Gordon, but basically this whole book is just talking about how one bad day can drive anyone crazy. That's what the Joker's thesis is in this book, and he sets out to prove that hypothesis. And, you know, whether or not he does, that is, I'll leave that up to you to read. But anyway, let's take a look at this Absolute Edition. Like I said, this is my first Absolute. The biggest thing, obviously, that determines it, or that makes it Absolute, is because, one, DC said so. But it's the trim size. Like I said, this is like almost a 10 by 15 book. And it comes in this really cool slipcase. So here's the front of the slipcase. And here is the back with the Joker just looking crazy. So obviously, The Killing Joke, written back in the 80s by Alan Moore, with art by Brian Bolland. Trying to get this out of the slipcase now. It's a very tight slipcase. I love this. I love that you get like the front profile and the side profile. Like, that's just dope. As I open this, I'm probably going to make this the thumbnail. But anyway. So this is obviously the back of the book, because nobody reads books like this, well, unless you're Japanese. So let's look at the front. front view, just another view of that same image, right? Just the other direction. I love that. Like, that's just well thought out. That's just good. That's just good stuff there. But anyway, of course, I've stretched this book out already. This is the little description that came with it. But I mean, we all know what it is, but I'll read it anyway. So it says, "One bad day. According to the grinning engine of madness and mayhem known as the Joker, that's all that separates the sane from the psychotic. Freed once again from the confines of Arkham Asylum, he's out to prove his deranged point. And he's going to use Gotham City's top cop, Commissioner Jim Gordon, and his brilliant and beautiful daughter Barbara to do it. Now Batman must race to stop his arch nemesis before his reign of terror claims two of the Dark Knight's closest friends." So like I said, this is written by Alan Moore with art by Brian Bolland, and colors, the original colors, are by John Higgins. Although this Absolute Edition, like I said, it doesn't, the original book, you can see, let's grab it for comparison, right? So the original book is very small, very thin, and you can see the Absolute Edition is a lot thicker. So the Absolute Edition doesn't just have oversized artwork, but it's got two versions of the same story. So in every reprint, or most reprints since the original, right, you're getting this. This is the newly recolored by Brian Bolland edition, right? But when this book came out, this is not what the colors looked like. Although I like the updated coloring. Sheesh, probably should open to a different page. But yeah, I like the updated coloring, but what I had never seen before is the original coloring. So what's really cool about this book is it gives you this story with the updated colors as Brian Bolland wants you to see them. You got some extras, kind of showing the process, a retrospective. Basically everything up until this point right here is what's included in that deluxe edition. So that pretty much stops right here. But then we get it again. We get the story again, except this time with the original coloring, and it's on this newsprint. So it's like hugely oversized version of the original book. So you can see the tones are a lot more yellow here. It's a little bit grittier in my opinion. Not so shiny. Very, very psychedelic looking. But yeah, look at that. Very cool. Now, it's just, I love this coloring, the way it looks here. Like these flashback scenes, they look so different. I should do a comparison. So here's page, well, it's not the actual page. So, all right. So I wanted to give you like a real comparison so you can see the biggest differences between the recolored artwork. Let me turn this down a little bit. All right. So on the recolored artwork, you can see everything is grayscale, and there would be like just certain bits of color. So like in this case, it was like some reds and kind of oranges, right? But anyway, everything's grayscale on the recolored version. But on the original, these flashbacks are like really, they're orangey. Like I said, they look just so much more psychedelic. So that's really cool. But yeah, so obviously this story gives us a lot. Without spoiling it, this story is how we eventually get the Oracle, you know, Barbara Gordon in the wheelchair. For you, if you want to see how that happens, then read the book, of course. But yeah, so this is all of there is as far as story is concerned. You got the story once in its original format, and you got the story in its recolored format. And the rest of this book is extras. So we get the full script from Alan Moore, right? We get original inks by Brian Bolland, and then we got script, more script, First of all, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages of script for 1 page of comics. So you get to see, exactly how well thought out Alan Moore is and how this all came together. So that's very cool. And you get that for every page of the book. The full script for this book is in here. And then we get, put in throughout bits and pieces of the original inks for Killing Joke. So that's very, very cool. Let's see, what else do we get as far as extras? This script is going to take forever because Alan Moore, look at this. We're on page 83 of the script. I don't know if you can even see that. It's kind of blown out. But page 83 of the script, page 26 of the actual book. Like, that's crazy. This script is super long for what ended up being, I think, a 42-page comic. All right, so we're finally done with the script. It was a 46-page comic. But anyway, now we've got some more promo images. We got the Joker here. We got this story. Oh, we got the origin of the Joker story by Mark Waid, written by Brian Bolland. So obviously this is a follow-up that was made later. But nice to see it included here. I love that Brian Bolland gets to kind of revisit this stuff. And now we've even got sketches from Batman Black and White. And then we got another art gallery by Brian Bolland. So we get, this is for the Greatest Stories Ever Told trade paperback. And then you get the inks for that page and the original pencil sketch. Joker's Last Laugh. Very cool. More promo images for Joker's Last Laugh. Love that. This was for Brian Bolland's The Art of Brian Bolland book, which I should have bought. I love this here, though. I love that a lot. More Brian Bolland work on Wonder Woman. So if you're a fan of Brian Bolland artwork, this is like a must-have book. There's so much super oversized Brian Bolland art in here. Love this. And this is even like they put the poster in here for 2016, the animated movie. And then you got bios for Brian Bolland and John Higgins, and one for Alan Moore too. And that's the end of the book. This book is insane. This book is amazing. There's no need for me to hype up The Killing Joke as a story. Like, it's absolutely top 5 Batman stories of all time. And it's great. I mean, this era of Batman really did a lot of redefining between this book and all of Frank Miller's work on Batman. Yeah, between this and Frank Miller's work on the title, like, The Dark Knight was just never the same after these books came out in the 80s. So there's no need for me to hype this story up, but I just wanted you guys to see what this absolute looks like, and I promised you the overview. So I hope you saw something you liked in this video. So there we go. I love this slipcase. But yeah, I hope you saw something you liked, and if not, hey, that's cool. You can always buy what you like. Make sure you read what you buy. And be nice to others, because kindness makes the world go round. Got that slipcase on now. Peace.